Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the latest instalment of the OCC's What's Your Story? Get to meet our members interviews. Today, I'm talking to Derek Hettenbach from Better Business Connections. Morning, Derek.
Morning, James.
Morning, good. So let's start off, Derek. Please tell me who you are and what you do.
Okay, I'm Derek Hettenbach. I am the host of Warwick Buzz. And in my real life, I deal with renewable energies and air purification products to assist people in their domestic settings and also people in business and commercial settings as well.
Okay, so how accessible are your solutions to small business owners?
To be fair, James, the way that I deal with things makes it very, very accessible for people, because rather than have a sort of a sales rep come around and spend 3 hours trying to push you into something, I tend to sit and listen and ask the right questions to find out exactly what the solution is. And then I go and find that solution for them based on their own circumstances and their own needs and requirements. Okay. So it's a matter of just spending a few minutes with me to tell me what the vision is and what they're asking, what the expectations are. And then I sort out the whole of the rest of it and present them with a fait accompli on whatever it may be that they're asking for.
Okay, cool. So obviously you're in the renewable energies, and I think you said air pollution sector.
Yeah,
so
it's air purification.
Purification. Okay. So what kind of solutions and products are you actually able to offer somebody like me, for example, as a small business owner?
Okay. So on the solar side of things, and for all situations, there is the potential for solar panels and battery storage and perhaps a change of electricity provider to be able to maximize the benefits of the solar panels and also to minimize the electricity bills that you might then get and that you're tied to by the grid. So it depends on whether you own business premises or whether you're on a long-term lease for the solar panel side. But in most circumstances, we can find something that would help on those. And on the air pollution side, I've been working for 2.5 years now on a solution that's just come to market. And these pieces of equipment will purify the air in a volume of space by taking out all of the little floaty bits in the air, all of the particulate matter. But most importantly, right now, it's also proven to take out 99.5% of all airborne viruses and bacteria and pollens and allergens and things like that. And as far as the viruses are concerned, this doesn't just take them out and capture them and keep them in a filter that's got to be handled at some stage. This actually kills the viruses through the process. So it purifies a volume of air, and an air refresh in an office could be done up to 10 times an hour. So, that is brand new onto the market. And obviously those things will also quite happily deal with a domestic property as well.
So with the air purification, does that work particularly well with buildings that have got building management systems where they've got air conditioning and
an upgraded version of it? Most certainly, yeah. The units that are most in demand at the moment, for obvious reasons, are the ones that are portable from room to room or from reception to waiting areas and that sort of thing. But these are units that can be upscaled to any purpose. So whether it be for putting involved with air conditioning systems at the head end of it all, or whether it's actually in things like restaurant exhaust in the kitchen, or factories and the chimney stacks, these things can be scaled for all circumstances.
Okay, so it's a really adaptable solution.
It was originally built to go into street furniture to clear air pollution and traffic pollution from city centres. So yeah, it's for every purpose.
Cool, good. That's really interesting. So I'd like to just go back to the renewable energies part. I know you mentioned solar. So do you also have access to things like small wind turbines and ground source pumps and and other renewable.
Yeah, wind turbines are of particular interest to landowners. We don't tend to put them on domestic and on normal small commercial properties, on the basis that we've still got to get over the vibration problem that those wind turbines have. So ground mounting is the turbine solution at the moment. They haven't yet effectively stopped the humming noise going through buildings on those. But yes, have access to those. And probably more important for businesses, I have access to funding providers that will bear all of the upfront costs, do the installations through myself, and it would be on a sort of a lease purchase type of agreement, which means that actually it will save the companies money because they get all of the benefits from the electricity generated. But they will also have savings on their normal bills, and the rest of the income from the turbines, they would pay as a capital repayment. So it doesn't hit the profit and loss, and it doesn't hit their capital expenditure. It's done in the background and they don't notice it. All they notice is the saving that we give as the extra margin for them.
Right, okay, that's really interesting. So do you also provide, I mean, we talked briefly about residential as well. So obviously a lot of small business owners are home workers or lone workers. Can you support them with making energy efficient savings in their homes as well?
Yeah, the solar panels in and of themselves are going to take away the need to pay an electricity provider as much money. But of course, these things, this is capital equipment that's on your house. It doesn't lose its value. So you haven't lost it. It's not like, when do I get my money back? This is something that generates an income for you. But tied in with that, there are other things that we can put in, like boiler management systems and the new smart thermostats and things like that. There's a number of different technologies that could go with it. Most people, though, are just interested in the battery storage and take advantage of cheap rate at night, as well as the solar power going into them.
Well, so actually what you've got is almost like a 360 degree solution that you can tailor for any specific client or customer that will give them some return or some saving.
That's exactly it. And there are a lot of people out there that will come along and they'll try to force one solution to fit into every situation. And I don't and I can't do that. It needs to be taking every consideration into mind, and really finding the proper solution, not just trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. So that's where I have my niche market. The fact that I do go and do all of that sort of searching and researching and tailoring it specifically to the individual, rather than just take a shelf, box off a shelf and here it is.
Cool. So moving on just a little bit from that, where do you see yourself and your business being by the end of, say, 2021? Obviously there's we'll come out of lockdown hopefully, and there'll be a lot more opportunities. So how are you going to maximize that, and where do you see yourself?
Well, I've for both parts of my business, both for the renewables and also for the air purification, there is a massive demand for this sort of technology in places in the care sector, particularly. That's where I'm choosing to concentrate, because, for instance, in the care sector, having a clean environment for people that are resident and working there and visitors is extremely important. So having air purification in those situations is paramount. But also, those are the same vulnerable sector that they rely on charitable donations. They are not people with a massive cash bank that they're going to spend on renewable energy. But if I can get it so that those facilities can have the solar panels and the energy production that they deserve, without it being an expense to them, because the capital repayment would only be spent on some other supplier's electricity. If I can help that sector, then that's where I see myself concentrating. These things are industry wide, and they are not even specific to this country that I can deal with. But I want to concentrate in those areas where there's the greatest social need, rather than trying to go for the big fish in the market. I'd rather help the people that need it and deserve it most.
So almost you're looking at those customers that lots of those other small energy brokers would almost overlook, because they don't have the capital to necessarily invest, where you're able to support them with the capital investment element, because it's a long term, like you said, it's a lease purchase, really, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah, so it's being self-funded right the way through. We always try wherever we can to make sure that the capital repayment is less than the value of the electricity coming in, so that there is a saving as well, because you have to show people something in the mix. But the fact that it's being paid for as it's going along, in and of itself, because of the electricity generated, then it's got to be an enormous benefit for that sort of market. So that's where I see it. I'm going to have inquiries coming in from here, there, and everywhere, obviously, once this gets out and about and is marketed properly. But those are the ones I want to focus on for myself, being an outbound inquiry, and I'll take the inbounds wherever they come.
Of course. No, I mean, I know you're obviously based in the Banbury area. So are you looking to have your customers be like regional, or are you looking at a national solution?
I can work nationally. I can work internationally with the renewable energy prospects. But look, come on, I'm only one person. I have enough hours in the day to sleep and eat, and all of the rest of it is for taking the inquiries and putting it where it needs to be. And of course, we're so much more proficient now on video. I can do loads of my surveys, certainly in the first stages, on Google Earth and various different online tools and things. And once there is an interest, and once it's got to the developed stage of an inquiry, that's when we can send someone out, or I can go out myself. But the opportunities are almost endless, and the incentives are there from both government and in the knowledge that it can be funded from business. Seriously, at the end of 2021, I can see myself being even more frazzled than I am right now. So, but let's cross fingers, and let's help those that deserve it most first.
Yeah. So actually, some of the social care elements, the kind of businesses that operate in the social care sector, many of those are obviously they have a local presence, but with a national reach, because they're parts of groups. So actually, being able to develop your contacts locally is really powerful, because then actually you build that trust, so that you can go and talk to them on a national basis. But you've got that foot in the door locally. Is that how you see some of that?
Yeah, the most important thing is having that initial contact, that initial understanding, and that initial trust. The propositions will speak for themselves, but until you have the opportunity, through the right connections, through the right people, at the right pace, you're not going to get that opportunity to present it in the first place. And businesses, just by the fact that they are businesses, are busy. And therefore, unless there is that introduction, that connection, you're not going to get in front of these people. And I certainly don't have time to go chasing and knocking on doors. Been there, done that, not doing it again.
It's always challenging to get in front of the decision maker at the right time in their business, for them to be able to grasp and understand what it is you're presenting. So sometimes it's you sow some seeds, and then you reap what you sow later on in time, don't you? So I think the greatest thing that's happened as far as this sort of business opportunity is concerned, is that there is now much more public awareness. And on the air purification side, my goodness, are we more aware of quality of the air, the purity, and airborne viruses and things.
you know, mold spores for those people who have a damp problem, you know, just this thing just zaps them, takes them out, zaps them.
Cool, brilliant. Thank you for that. My last question is, obviously you've got you're quite ambitious this year. How can the OCC support you in reaching your goals for the end of the year?
The OCC is, for me, it's one of the most marvelous get-togethers and merging of minds that there are. And I've had so much help so far by the people in the OCC, just by sitting there and quietly going about work and asking a quick question that you think will maybe get a short reply, and suddenly someone comes up with this absolute gold mine of a concept or a way of putting things or something. And I have genuinely found it invaluable. And long may it continue, because you know, I can't ask anything more of the OCC than they already do. And it's just the fact of so many people from so many different areas knowing so many different people themselves that makes it that worthwhile. It's like a concentrated networking meeting from people who are their own networks, and that are trusted friends.
Yes.
And that's also very important, because nobody is going to recommend you if they're not certain of you, and if they don't know that what you're telling people is exactly the way that it is. So for me, the OCC is sort of the peg in the ground that everything else is built upon for me. Certainly these last few years.
That's really great for you to share that with us. I mean, I think the OCC's value is the fact that we are obviously we're a diverse mix of different businesses and business owners, but actually we bring a wealth of experience to the group. You know, so I'm really pleased that you see the benefit in that, and that's manifesting itself.
Well, the other thing, James, is that many times, you know, those people don't realize exactly how much their input has helped, and it's very rare that you get the opportunity to be able to say thank you to those that have done that. So from me, thank you everybody in the OCC that I've interacted with. You've been absolutely marvelous.
Brilliant. And on that note, Derek, I think that's a perfect time to say that's a wrap. We'll finish on that really excellent note. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us this morning and for chatting to me. It's been really
That's been great, James. Thanks ever so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.